an educational theorist who says that in the first 30 seconds to 2 minutes when you walk onto campus, you should get a sense of the kind of community it is. There's two types of community that he comments on. One type is a very formal, conservative community where the learning is going to be somewhat doctrinal and didactic. There's another kind of community where he calls it messy. And he doesn't mean messy that it's disordered and dirty, but he means messy that there's learning is part of process, learning is part of relationship building. I do believe if you're going to be successful in any independent school, in a high school, that you have to do one thing well, and I know it's somewhat cliched, and not everybody understands this or can participate in this, but you have to take your job seriously and not yourself. And when you work with teenagers, when you work with high school students, it cannot be about you, it cannot be about only your knowledge, it cannot be about your expertise, it cannot be about just your passion or love of the subject. It has to be about building a relationship with the student so that you and the student together can get to the place where an understanding can be. When I was a junior in high school, I had two teachers, a Latin teacher and an English teacher. And the Latin teacher was an athlete, the English teacher was a typical nerd who wore his pants really high and had a pocket protector. And they sort of embraced two sides of how I saw myself. I loved athletics, but I loved learning the most. So when I entered teaching, you know, it felt as if when I walked into a class I was slipping into a warm bath. I liked being in that atmosphere because it reminded me what I like to do. I like to learn. And so I can't imagine ever not teaching. A few moments. You can either write them or just put it in your head. And any good lesson and any good experience in the classroom is helping students understand relationships on some degree, whether it's 2013 now or the mission talks about global learning. I think that learning for a long time has always been, I know global is a new word, but has always been the ability to move well beyond ourselves. I think learning becomes finite and limited when it's only about a particular lesson, or it's only about achieving a particular grade, or it's only about that moment in time. I would hope, regardless of whether a student is in the environmental club, a student is in the physics class, a student is in English 9 and they're studying the Odyssey, for instance, is that the teacher is having a conversation, the students are having a conversation, the teacher is developing a lesson in which the students can develop not just a relationship with the character in that story, or a relationship with the experiment that they're having and a clarity of the skills, but a relationship to how they can apply this in their lives. Or the foundation of any good community is its core values. Ollie has tried to do, and what people who are participants in this community have tried to do, is understand that first and foremost, our most important role is as a mentor. And for me, a mentor is something that is grounded in the spiritual world. It's not something that you kind of touch. It's not something that it's listed on a wall. It's something that you believe deeply in your soul, and that's who you are. And so no matter whether you're in your classroom and you're talking about Socrates, or you're on the athletic field, or you're in the office with a student, is that you're the same person. You're not trying to be something that you're not, and so therefore you're inspiring, hopefully, in the student that they have the capacity to do the same thing, except relative to their potential. You're not asking them to be something they're not. You're not asking them to be like you. You're asking them to be like their best.